myself a little bit of tea. I hope that's okay. I got this beautiful, beautiful teapot for Christmas, and I only really got it in the last couple of weeks because I didn't get to spend Christmas with family. And so I finally got this teapot, and I'm so in love with it. And so I've brewed up some green tea, and I'm going to have myself a little bit of a tea, Victorian style tea in the teacup kind of morning. How cute. I got my little teacup from the thrift store. You can find lots of beautiful little treasures there. Okay, I'm getting off track. I really struggled with this last semester online. I was so eager to get into the semester with the course load that I had. I was so excited about some of my classes. Really, actually, I was quite excited about most of them. 4 out of 5 of them I was so eager to get going on. And in particular, it was linguistics. I had an intro to linguistics class, and I had a social psychology class. And both of those were really exciting for me in terms of helping me narrow down and kind of assure myself of the direction that I want to go in terms of my career. I had taken a developmental psychology course in my first semester, and it really opened my eyes to the possibilities of working with children, and in particular their language acquisition. And so then through that I decided I wanted to take a linguistics class, as that is a necessity in order to get into a master's program in speech language pathology, which is maybe an avenue that I'm interested in seeking out. So I took this linguistics class, and it ended up being a fantastic class. Hard, stuff that I've never even heard of, honestly. Some of the stuff we were learning was quite interesting. Phonetics and phonology, morphology, syntax. It just really pushed the limits on what I knew about grammar and about like sentence composition. So it was very interesting. And so that class was really great, but it was online, and I struggled to find the motivation to really immerse myself in the content, because all I had to do was jump out of bed and take a couple steps, and there I was at my desk. So the act of only staying within a small amount of space to study, instead of having to get dressed and get ready to go to campus, had much deeper effect on me in my second semester than in the first. It's hard to feel like I've just spent a semester and had these opportunities, and yet I didn't feel like I seized them completely to the full effect. And I mean, hindsight is 20/20, so I understand that, a lot of people probably feel that way after any semester, even if it was on campus. But it made me think about what my future is going to look like with my next year at university, and whether this fall semester will be in person or not. There are talks as of now that the university will open up for in-person teaching, which I really hope happens. However, with the climate that Ontario is in right now, it doesn't seem like that could be a possibility if we continue on this track. If that's going to be the case, if they announce that officially this next semester will be online, I am thinking I might defer. I might decide to take the fall semester off and then hopefully pick it back up in the winter. I've been through 4 years of post-secondary now. 1 in a program that I really didn't enjoy, 2 to get a diploma out of college, and now I just finished a year at this university in a program that I'm so excited to finally be in. And I guess I feel like at this point I have spent enough time wasting time, I guess. And it's much more complicated than that. I know I didn't waste the last 4 years of my life, by all means. I know I didn't do that. I don't care how long it takes, really, is what I'm trying to say. I don't care if it takes me another extra year to finish this undergrad before I get into my master's. I just really want to love school again. I just really want... I spent so long being shy and like, oh, hi, Stella. I just feel like I've spent so much time doing what other people thought I should do in terms of programs and jobs and stuff. And yet here I am, I'm finally on the path that I want to take, and I just don't want to waste that. I don't want to look back, after all these years and think, ugh, I did all of that online. And I feel like I could have gotten so much more out of it if I was in person. And so, you know, what's the harm in waiting until it could be in person again? So today, in particular, it's 10:30 in the morning, not at night, in the morning. And I have work at 2:15. So I am set up at a little table in my living area. And I've got 3 things in front of me. I have the book I'm currently reading, which is, of course, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Never read it. And, you know, I think I put it off for so long because I would go to the bookstore, like, you know, the box bookstore, which is Indigo near me. And it was like $100. No, it wasn't $100, but it was really expensive and everybody was reading it. So I was like, man, I don't want to read it because everybody else is reading it. But I feel like I've given it enough time. And I found a copy at my local thrift store. So it was much cheaper, and it feels like I'm reading more of the original, you know, instead of like the new cover, you know, based on the, you know, the new show that's based on it. I don't want the actors on the front cover of my book, you know. So I'm reading this, so I wanted to spend some time to read that. I also have my journal in front of me. My journal. I'm probably gonna, you know, I'd like to take some time to just write down some of my thoughts, regardless of what they are. I often, well, lately, I feel like I've been scripting my journal, which is super annoying because then it doesn't feel like I don't have any outlet to actually be myself. So yeah, let's be truthful in my journal today. And then Marco picked me up. Oh, he went to the grocery store yesterday and he was only supposed to get me some oat milk. He comes back out. He's like, Kira, I got you something else. I was like, what? He's like, I saw this and I thought of you and I thought you'd really like to read this. So it's a National Geographic, and this one is The World's Most Beautiful Places, 100 Unforgettable Destinations. So I'm really looking forward to going through and looking at the pictures in particular. It is going to be a good day, regardless of anything. Doesn't matter what the weather is, doesn't matter what my life is like. I'm grateful. I have chills now. I have chills, but I am grateful for this opportunity to read and to write and to spend time with my dogs and to drink tea. And those are great things to be grateful for. So I'm about to hop on a virtual lecture about deep fakes. Okay, so the description of this lecture I'm joining is: deepfakes are algorithmically modified videos and audio recordings that project one person's appearance onto that of another, creating an apparent recording of an event that never took place. Many scholars and journalists have attended to the political risks of deepfake deception, but there are other more subtle ways in which deepfakes have the potential to cause harm. So I guess throughout this lecture, which is about an hour and a half, we're going to be talking about the varying other forms of harm that deepfakes have that maybe haven't been brought up in everyday media. So that's going to be really exciting. I'm kind of joining this kind of spur of the moment. I have done no research, like I said, and my field of study has nothing to do with deepfakes. I'm more into developmental psychology, so this is just kind of totally out there, but I'm feeling like I want to continue to learn in a broad variety of ways, and this is one of the ways. So we'll see. I don't know if I'll last the full hour and a half. I suspect there's going to be like a question period, so maybe the lecture is actually like an hour, and then there's a little bit of a break and then a question period, so we shall see.
I think she's probably the person who's done the most of anybody right now to think about how the law is going to have to handle this effect in the long term. So I would recommend taking a look at her work. But yeah, it's a huge, huge problem.
I've been reading One of my all-time favorite books. This is the first self-help book I ever picked up, and it's the best one I've read in all these years. I was like 15 when I first picked it up, and it's called You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. And I've picked it up a couple times throughout the years over the last, 6 or 7 years since I've had it. And I am really, I'm reading it fully again this time around. I'm not just picking out little pieces, like little chapters, but I'm reading it to its full extent. And one of the chapters is called Lead with Your Crotch. And she's ridiculous. And one of the things she wanted us to think about as readers was, what is it, what activities or what things do you do in your day where you lose track of time while you're doing them? Oh, hello. Come on up. Yeah, good choice. Let's just wait till Max settles. Oh, we just get his bum into shape. That's exciting. We got a nice bum. So it was like, what is it that you do throughout the day that all of a sudden you realize you've lost track of time doing while doing this activity? And so I just reflected on that, and at first I thought I have nothing, oh my god, as if I have nothing that I lose track of time while doing. But then I sat with it for a while, and I realized that actually there are a number of things that I do in a day that all of a sudden I realize hours have passed and I didn't even realize. And that includes editing YouTube videos. I love simply putting together content. That includes taking photographs, so going out into nature or wherever I am and photographing landscapes in particular and nature. That includes writing on my blog, which I haven't done in so long, but I have memories of when I used to, and I would just sit and think, I'll write for half an hour and see what comes out. And then all of a sudden I'll come out of this haze of words and realize that, hours have passed, and that's I'm getting chills just thinking about that. It's such a nice feeling. It was just making me realize that I do have things that I lose track of time doing them. And, the lesson from You Are a Badass was find time to do those things. If you need to delegate tasks, if you need to hire somebody and delegate tasks so that you can do things, in your professional life that you lose track of time doing, freaking do it. Same thing with your personal life. If you love to paint and draw and you lose track of time doing it, and yet that at a certain time of day you need to take the dogs out for a walk, ask your partner if they can do it. Just do whatever you can to give yourself that time to engage in whatever it is that that sets you into this vortex of focus and energy, and you come out of not even sure what time of day it is. Even just talking about it, geez, it's such a beautiful feeling. I have memories of what that feels like. I'm gonna cry. Oh. I have memories of what that feels like, but I don't feel like I've felt like that in a long time. So that's definitely something I want to channel this summer, giving myself the space to sit down at my desk and pull out my art journal and just go to town and see what happens and not care what the results are, and come out 2 hours later, starving because I just put all my energy into whatever it was that I wanted to create. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that this summer.